Hello everybody, it is Kate. Today I am going to be talking about another movie, shockingly. The movie is Megaboa, which is about a big boa in the rainforest. And also, I know I have blush blindness, but please don't say anything, it will hurt my feelings. To get into it, there are lots of main characters. I don't know many of their names because they say it like once and then I don't remember. So we have a poacher, and I just call him the poacher. They say his name a lot, but whenever I was starting to write my script, I forgot it. So we're just gonna go with the poacher, and it's also his job. We have Grace, who is a crybaby, and then we have Army Girl, who was in the army. That's kind of her only personality trait. We have Jason, who is blonde, and then we have a muscle man who just looks like a gym bro, and then we have the professor and the professor's goody two-shoes assistant girl. So let's get into it after we know all our super memorable characters. So we start out with a poacher. Him and his buddy like go to a island to hunt, but one of them dies, and he is stuck on the island because their boat capsized, so he's just there. And then later on, like, he meets the main group of people, like, after he's been, like, exploring the island. And his friend died from the megaboa, so he knows that it's out there. The professor and his kids, they're, like, on a research expedition. Most of them kind of act like they don't know each other. And it's like, if y'all took a plane ride or a helicopter ride here, you guys would have probably talked beforehand and afterwards. Like, some of it is like they don't even know each other, but then other times their questions are insane. Like Grace, she asks the army girl point blank, "Don't you feel bad about killing people? Isn't that weird that you killed people when you were in the army?" And I was like, what are we doing here? Why is this something you would ask when and they're asking this on their way to go like try to save someone else. So it's like, why on earth did you say that? And then the army girl is like, I mean, I guess I feel bad, but that's not what keeps me up at night. And then Grace is like, oh, what do you mean? Why wouldn't that keep you up at night? What actually does? And Army Girl is like, all the people I couldn't save on my team. And then the entire thing, she's like, I thought I wasn't gonna lose anybody else. It's so funny. It's so funny. The professor puts his shoe on, but there's like a spider in one of his boots. So then he gets like bit by like a spider and he freaks out, and his acting is really bad, but that's okay.
Damn.
And they're like, we need to get medication for him because he could die in like a couple hours. They radio into the helicopter company.
We have an emergency. We need to be evacuated.
Is someone seriously injured?
No.
It will be a while before we're able to send anyone out to you.
No, that is unacceptable. This is an emergency.
And it's like, you just said that it wasn't. It was an awesome scene. It was really cool. And also, fun fact, the professor is a famous actor, like an actual like actor. His name is Eric Roberts, and I was like, I know this guy looks familiar. Turns out he's from The Dark Knight. He plays Sal Maroni. Just goes to show you the staying power of this amazing actor. He goes from one hit to another. But then the poacher is like, comes back and he's like, I really need help, blah, 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 blah. He's not like there to kill them. He actually just wants to get off the island because he doesn't kill humans. He only kills defenseless animals. But he dies, so it's okay. My chair is so creaky. And then he's like, guys, I know something that could stop the poison. It's an orchid tree and I know where it is. So for some reason this guy knows where everything is. Like, he knows where a specific tree is in the jungle. They all go except for the professor and one girl who stays with him. I forgot her name. She has a drone, so that's cool. So he leads them to like, they just trek through the jungle with this guy, which is so dangerous. But they go and they see an orchid tree. And I know orchid trees are real, but this one is like an insanely ginormous one. And there are a ton of giant snakes on it. So you're like, oh, he led them to a trap. But they don't see it like that. They're just like, huh, how are we gonna get the orchids without triggering snakes? But then they see a giant snake, like a giant, like 60-footer, like an insane, it's almost like a mega boa. And it starts chasing them down. So they all run away, obviously, because they don't want to get eaten by a snake. And then they stop, and then they're like just standing there being like, oh yeah, we lost one of our buddies. We lost Jason. But why did you stop? Like, if a 60-foot snake is chasing you, I don't think you would stop. And of course they stop in like a perfect clearing where they can get the perfect shot where they're all like standing there. But it's like they're all like, we lost Jason, and it's like, yeah, of course you lost Jason, you guys all ran for your lives. The army girl, she's supposed to be like the very analytical, being like, okay, we gotta make a plan. She's talking to the other guy, I don't know his name, like Muscle Man. She's like, where was the last place you saw Jason?
We need to go to Jason. Where's the last place you remember seeing him?
I don't know. I mean, there was the orchid, there was the snake.
It's like, obviously, that's where you guys all ran from. And then Grace is really annoying because she's like the only one who's like, I don't want to go back. Like, I'm scared, whatever. Which makes sense, but her acting makes her unlikable.
Then why are we going back into that brutality? I mean, my friends get lost at a bar. The safest thing is to stay
I'm telling you, they're expecting real trouble.
Fine. Okay. You know which way I'm leaning.
Both the army girl and muscle man are like, I trust this guy. He's telling us we could go back. We totally should. And it's like, why trust him? Like, he has done nothing except lead you to a snake-infested tree, which doesn't even make sense. And then army girl is like, yeah, he's the expert. I trust him.
I say we trust the expert. We keep moving.
Expert on what? Leading you to a snake-infested tree? Like, you don't know this guy. You met him last night when he snuck into your camp and was like, my buddy died. I'm lost. Can you give me a ride home off the island? And then we cut back to the professor and the girl. There's like a secondary plot of them like leaving the camp and trying to find the people after they realize there's a giant snake, but I'm not really gonna go into that because it's really boring and it's just this guy hobbling. He's like got bit by a spider that is supposedly going to kill him in like a day and a half. And you're a professor, you've been out in the woods a billion times. I feel like you would have some like antidotes, like anti-toxin, anti-venom stuff. And it's like if you're going out into the jungle with a bunch of venomous, toxic, can kill you type of animals, I think you would have the stuff, like the antidotes for that, but they don't have anything. And this guy's like an idiot. But she's a drone and she's gonna survey the area because like that's part of their research and stuff, and that's when they find out about the megaboa, and then they go and try to help the other people. But that doesn't happen until later, but I'm just saying that because I think it's a stupid side plot. It's not even a side plot, it's just stupid how they excuse where characters are. So then she calls the helicopter people again and being like, can you please, this guy really needs medical help, and she's like, I'll see what I can do, but like I don't really think I can do anything. And then it cuts to the travel agent, or like the person who runs the helicopter place, and it just shows her call like 10 people, and it's like, we don't need this whole thing. And it's just, oh my gosh, I skipped through this because I was like, this is so stupid. And apparently she had also called the Coast Guard and they said no, it's too windy for us. The guy who runs the helicopter place used to be a pilot. Like, he's like, I'll do it. I know what's there. They're gonna die if no one saves them. So obviously he knows about the boa. But it's like, if this is common knowledge, why would you ever let someone go to that island? Because he's even like, yeah, that's why only desperate poachers go to the island. And it's like, if you know that, then why do you have pilots who go there and drop people off? It cuts back to our main group of people, and the buff guy starts climbing the tree. The snake is already in it. Army girl has a flare just in case the snake tries to go after him, and then the poacher has like a trank gun. And Army girl like supposedly has a great shot because she was like went to West Point and she had killed like other soldiers and stuff, and she has a flare gun and she completely misses. Like, I was like, this is our best shot. Thankfully though, the poacher has a better aim. Not thankful for the animals though. He hits it with a trank gun and then it passes out, and then it like vomits what it ate, and it was just like gunk, so you know it's chasing. I'm not gonna lie, I did laugh at this because it was just like, ah, and I was like, and everyone's like, Jason.
Jason.
But then the other guy falls out of the tree without grabbing the orchid and hurts his leg, but he like grabs his, like whenever he falls he's like, ah, and then the next scene he's like hobbling. So it's like, did we forget what limb we hurt? So then they run away again, but it doesn't make sense because the megaboa is passed out. Some of the snakes from the tree had gone down to eat the regurgitated Jason, but they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna leave again. What? They all start like yelling at each other, and the army girl is like, I'm done losing people. And I don't want to make fun of their acting too much, but oh my gosh, everyone's facial expressions in this movie making me so mad.
I thought I was done losing people.
Like, they're trying to act too cool or stuff like that, and it's like, I'm done losing people. And it's like, oh my gosh, was so bad. It was rough. It was rough. They all go on like an emotional like rant about what they're gonna tell Jason's family, being like, his parents are gonna be so upset, his girlfriend's gonna be so upset, his friends are gonna be so upset. The army girl is like, no one needs to know the specifics, we can just say he was eaten by a boa.
We never speak of it again. Jason was eaten by a big snake, yes, but no one needs to know the details.
And then and then Grace is like, regurgitation.
The regurgitation?
Like, it's so funny. Like, because she was, obviously that's not how he died, but it's what happened to him. And I lost my mind. I laughed so hard. The way she says it and just the timing is so good. It's probably my favorite thing in the movie. Whenever they're like sort of calms down a little bit, the poacher pulls out a stick of dynamite and the army girl's reply makes me want to scream.
You're walking around with dynamite in a dirty towel. Are you trying to get us all killed? Hey, amigo, dynamite is unstable, shock sensitive, nitroglycerin. It's a problem. I have a problem with that.
It's not a problem.
Until it's a problem.
Like, as they're all arguing, Grace is like, comes in with like the classic, Jason's dead.
Why are we even fighting about this? Jason is dead. Let's not fight. Let's get out of here.
This movie is literally just every cliche conversation put into a movie. But then like they all like turn on the poacher being like, wait, you knew the snake was there. You led us to it. I thought this the exact moment we saw the snake infested tree, but they only figured it out now. Like this whole scene is just like argument after argument after argument, and I was like, okay, Chatty Cathy, if there are snakes around, we should go. The poacher has like a really long like monologue being like, we gotta kill the snake together. He killed my friend, he killed Jason, and he did all these things and we need to stop him and stuff. And they're just like, no, and leave. Bye! I don't know why, but I love the idea whenever someone has like a monologue and then no one cares in the slightest. Like, the trio leave to try to find camp, but they can't. They get stuck by a bunch of snakes. They run back to the poacher and he's like, well. But it's like, how did they find their way back? They were getting chased by like a bunch of snakes. How on earth did they find their way back to him? But whatever, I'm suspending disbelief for this movie a lot. But then they talk about climbing the tree again to grab the orchid because that's still the only reason why they're there. And also a possibility to kill a snake because he's still passed out in the tree. Grace tells the guy he's much better at climbing than her, and also they don't want Army Girl to climb because she is a good shot. And they don't want her like in the tree, they want her to have like a gun ready. Did we not just see the exact opposite of this? Did we not just see her miss a shot with the flare gun? She completely missed the shot and no one mentioned it. Like, I see you, girl. I see you, Miss West Point. So it's like you can kill people, but like when it comes to a snake, you miss? She's the exact opposite of the poacher's aim. So then they like shoot at the tree or blow it up or whatever, and then the tree falls. I thought they were gonna put the dynamite in the snake's mouth and kill it, but I guess they just didn't. So the tree falls over and Miss Army Girl army crawls to the tree, grabs an orchid and starts running back, but then the snake wakes up and the boy, this muscle man, is like, we gotta help her, and he like runs to distract her, but then the snake just immediately eats him, and I was like, oh, didn't do much help there, bud. But they get away during this, and then they go and see a research lab from like the 50s or 60s, and they go into it, and snakes start flooding into it, and so they start hitting the snakes with like axes and stuff, but they're not dying. And then our genius army girl gets like a aerosol can of something and lights it on fire, but she lights the building on fire. They try to like put it out with their feet, but obviously the fire was like an animation they added in post, but it's just them like stepping in this like giant fire. It looks so funny. I was laughing so hard. She lights the building on fire, so they have to escape, but the megaboa is outside, so they run outside and they climb up this thing to go to a zip line. And when they're about to leave, the poacher is like trying to distract the snake so they get up there, but then whenever he runs up there, the girls have like already left, so he like jumps and grabs them, but it's like very clear that they were way farther than him to just grab onto them. The physics are off, but so is everything else in this movie, so I'm not gonna mention it. But then the snake comes and grabs him, pulls him under, and drops into like an acid lake. They talk about it briefly earlier. It doesn't really matter. So then whenever he falls into the lake, he dies, obviously. And then the megaboa, they think, dies. So they get off the thing. but then they see that it just like shedded his skin. So he gets out of it, and then the professor and the girl come and meet them. So it's the four of them, and then they start hitting the snake with like sharp objects because his skin is super soft now because it was just like burned off. But then the snake is just like standing there. It's just like here and there like ah 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 ah, and it's so stupid but so funny because it's like not moving at all. It's like this snake could easily kill these four people in like an instant, but it doesn't. And then it eats Grace. It eats Grace right before it dies, but then like in a like literally 10 seconds later she's like, guys, let me out.
Help! Get me out of here!
And when she gets out, she's like, I'm alive! And the helicopter comes and saves them. But then, like, the very ending shot is a bigger snake eating the dead megaboa. So it's like, mega super awesome boa. That is actually the end of the movie. Honestly, I don't have really much to say about it. It was fine. Bad movie. I enjoy bad movies, so this was nothing different. Thank you so much for watching. Like and comment and subscribe if you liked the video. And if you don't do those things, a giant megaboa will eat you. Bye everyone.